Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Batgasm here. Over the last few weeks on my stream, I've seen people coming into chat and saying that they're returning to SOD after phase 2 or 3 or whatever, or they're new players, new to SOD, and they're asking if it's too late to start since it's going to be a seasonal server. Some of the common worries that I hear people saying is that they've been gone too long, they don't know where to catch up, and they feel like they missed too much. I'm going to make a quick short video here telling you that you haven't missed too much, and we're going to get you pointed on the right track. So whether you're starting SOD for the first time, or you haven't logged on since Nomergon or Sunken Temple, the advice is pretty much the same. Level up, get gear, and get into raids. And here's the best way to do that now. So Season of Discovery has added a buff called Discover's Delight. This gives you 150% increased experience and 300% increased gold from quest. So whether you're level 1 or you're coming back at level 35 or level 40, you're going to be leveling pretty quick. Additionally, you can now buy all of your runes starting at level 1 for 1 copper. That's right, you heard me. You can buy all of your runes starting at level 1 for 1 copper. I've been leveling a warrior, and leveling with Victory Rush and Meat Hook has been so much fun. Victory Rush? Oh my god, dude. This is insane. This is insane, dude. Victory Rush. God. You can level now as a Warlock tank at level 1 or whatever, right? It's a lot of fun, guys. I highly suggest you go give it a try. Additionally, they have changed the incursions in Phase 3 to be daily quests. So starting at level 25, I think, you can start doing your daily incursion quests here, and you can get like a level a day for a very short amount of time spent questing. I think level 25 is Duskwood, and then 40 is Ashenvale, and then 50 is the Hinterlands. Horde, I think, went to Feralis at 50. I don't know. I don't fucking play Horde, but yeah, you can do your daily incursion quest now and get like a shit ton of XP for a small amount of time. Also, people have been coming into my chat and they have been telling me that they have been just grinding mobs out in the incursions, and with the 150% increased experience that they've been getting like a shit ton of levels in a short amount of time. I had someone tell me that they got level 60 in 2 days. I've had someone tell me that they got 10 levels in just a couple of hours. So that is apparently a viable option. I'm going to be testing it out on my warrior here in the next week or so. But whether you're doing the incursions, grinding out mobs, or just questing with the 150% increased experience, you should be zooming. You can try and run all the old SOD raids if you want, but it's really not important. You don't have to do it. I don't think any classes really need anything out of there. You can buy all the toys now with your Tarnished Undermine Reals and Stranglethorn. There's a mount in Nomergon, and maybe there's a few other things that you may want to make a group for or try and find a group for, but it's really not super important to be running the old raids. They're decent XP if you can get a group together to go. It's decent XP, but it's really not that important. You can do your daily incursions until level 53, and then you want to do your Blackrock Eruption daily quest, which was the special event in Phase 4. It's of note here that from level 50 to 60, the 150% increased experience goes down to, I believe, 50% increased experience, but it's still, you're going to be leveling pretty quick. Once you get level 60, there's a few things you're going to want to start doing. First is getting attuned for Molten Core and BWL. I would go ahead and skip Onyxia. That's what I would suggest. The attunement's really long and not a lot of people run Oni anymore. But unless there's something you just really want off of her, I would go ahead and skip that. If you do decide to do the attunement, what's cool about it though is that the Drakefire Amulet is now, you can buy a copy to send to all your alts. So if you do the Oni attunement, you only got to do it once. But Molten Core and BWL are pretty easy to get attuned for. You can just go buy cleared out Upper Blackrock Spire, run in there and touch the orb to get attuned for BWL. But if you can't find one already cleared out, just go run BRD for Molten Core and an Upper Blackrock Spire for BWL. All the level 60 dungeons, Skullomance, Stratholme, and Oni and Molten Core and BWL are all still ran very frequently for Real runs. And what Reals are is a new SOD currency called Tarnished Undermine Reals. You get these from, like I just said, running level 60 dungeons, Skullomance, Stratholme, and all of the old raids. So Onyxia, Molten Core, and BWL. And this currency pretty much can be used to buy everything you need at in-game in Season of Discovery. You can buy tier 1 and 2 gear with it. You can buy crates that give you mats for tier 3 gear. You can buy crates that give you mats that people are looking for in the auction house, so it's a really good gold farm. You can buy toys. There's all sorts of shit that you can buy with these Tarnished Undermine Reals. And so because of this, though, everyone still is running Molten Core. Everyone's still running BWL. Like, my guild does it every week. I'm doing it on 2 characters now almost every week. People are still running level 60 dungeons. I think each, unless they changed it since the last I looked, each boss in like Stratholme and Skullomance drop 1 each per day. I would assume at this point they've updated that, but I would have to look into it. But Molten Core and BWL, each boss drops at least 3. So that means 1 Molten Core, you're getting about 30 Tarnished Undermined Reals. So if you do Molten Core BWL, say one night, you're getting about 60 Reals. Additionally, since most people probably already have Molten Core and BWL gear, if you just run 1 or 2 BWLs, 1 or 2 Molten Cores, you're going to get geared up pretty quick, because most people will probably be off-spec rolling for all the tier 1 and tier 2 gear. And anything you don't get, you can then go buy with your Tarnished Undermine Reals. So get level 60, get a tune for MC BWL, start running level 60 dungeons and MC and BWL for these Tarnished Undermine Reals. Start getting geared up. Obviously, you can still do ZG, they drop Reals. The only ones that don't is AQ20 and AQ40. I'm surprised since Nax came out, they haven't added Reals to AQ20 and AQ40 yet, but hopefully that's coming soon. But ZG still, world bosses, you can do Kazik. Thundarin's a new world boss. Right, you can go do Thundarin, he drops Reals. Just do all the level 60 content and start getting Reals. You can also start working on your next Rammus attunement, which is pretty easy to do. You need to be honored, I believe, with Argent Dawn, which we'll go over here in just a moment. But you just need a few Nexus Crystals, Arcane Crystals, and then a Righteous Orb, and you'll get a tune for Nax pretty easily. Some of those can cost a little bit on the auction house. The prices are still pretty up, I think. But if you have your Tarnished Undermine Reals from MC and BWLs, you can buy those crates and sell those mats to get the gold you need for the materials for the Nax attunement. You also need to start doing your Scourge Invasions. Scourge Invasions are going to be located all around the world by these purple skulls. You have some in Winterspring right now. You have some in Teneris. There's going to be a lot of undead mobs at the Scourge Invasions, and there's a lot of stuff, currency that drops at these Scourge Invasions. You obviously start getting your Invader Scourge Stones and your Corruptor Scourge Stones, which you can turn in to help you get honored for the next Rammus attunement. You can also turn these Scourge Stones in for Argent Dawn Valor tokens, which are really cool because you can buy a shoulder enchant with these Valor tokens now that give you 1 previous set bonus on a piece of gear for a shoulder enchant. So say I want the Bloodfang 2 set bonus, I can now buy that as an enchant and put that on my shoulders. So you get a full set bonus, not a full set bonus, you get a set bonus as an enchant now that you can put on your shoulders from the Argent Dawn Valor tokens, which you get from turning in these Scourge Stones, which you get from doing the invasions, which is also giving your rep to get a tune for Nax. Really cool. You also get Necrotic Runes here, which you can spend on multiple. There's a bunch of stuff you can buy with Necrotic Runes. Sharpening Stone that gives you attack power against undead, and a bunch of other stuff. So you can start collecting your Necrotic Runes. But the biggest thing that you want to be doing this for is for, I don't have any in my bag because I used them all, but you want to be getting Remnants of Valor. And Remnants of Valor is going to go towards leveling up your Seal of the Dawn item now. And what the Seal of the Dawn item does, there's one for different specs. I'm a rogue tank, so this increases my threat by 6.25%, my damage by 12.5%, and my health by 12.5% for each piece of sanctified gear that I had. I'll go into sanctified gear in a moment. And so Remnants of Valor, you need to collect from, there's multiple ways to collect it. The Scourge Invasions, at the end of the Scourge Invasions, there's a repeatable quest you can do to collect a heart that you can turn in to get Remnants of Valor. That goes towards leveling it up. You can do the new Dungeon Karazhan if you haven't played. I forgot all about Karazhan. If you haven't played since Phase 1 or 2 or whatever, or if you're just joining SOD now, you guys want Classic Plus. Karazhan, the new dungeon Karazhan, is fucking classic plus. It's super cool. You go in there, you have a torch. I'm sure most of you guys have probably seen it by now. There's a darkness effect to it, so mobs can come out of the darkness and everybody has to stay around the torch. It's really, really cool, especially at the beginning when everyone was like exploring and discovering it for the first time, right? But the bosses in there can drop remnants of valor. But the Scourge Invasions are one of the best places to get the remnants, because you can just do it. You can join a raid group and you can pretty much AFK, right? And then you collect a heart at the very end of the Scourge Invasion, go turn it in, pick up the quest again, go to the next Scourge Invasion, pick up the heart, turn it in, do it again, get your remnant, and you're just going back and forth collecting remnants of valor. You can get fucking hundreds of them pretty quick. And you use these again to level up your Seal of the Dawn, which gives you increased abilities inside Naxxramas. So the more you level this up, the more powerful you'll be inside Naxxramas. Also, doing the Scourge Invasions and Karazhan gives you 3 pieces of gear that is pretty much your prebis for going into Naxxramas, which is, for me, it's the Undead Warding set. So you can get the tunic, you can get the bracers, you can get the gloves. They changed this to be, it used to be a 3 set, you had to have all 3 for the set bonus, but they changed it to be 2, and what this 2 set does is give my Seal of the Dawn a bonus as if I'm wearing 2 pieces of additional Sanctified gear, which we'll go into Sanctified here in just a second. But you can get these from doing the Scourge Invasions. I think one of these you can buy off the auction house. I think it's the bracers. You may have to look them up. But you can get these inside Karazhan and doing the Scourge Invasions. So there's a lot of value of doing the Scourge Invasions. You're getting Scourge Stones, which you need rep to get the next attunement. You need Scourge Stones to turn in for the Argent Dawn Valor token, which gives you the shoulder enchant. And you also need necrotic runes that can let you buy like sharpening stones and other things that you need for Naxxramas. And then you also need the remnants of valor that you use to level up your Seal of the Dawn. So Scourge Invasions are where you want to be, right? For sure. So what is Sanctified gear? SOD has introduced in-game gear to have special bonuses. In AQ, there was one called Time Worn, and for each piece of Time Worn gear you had on it, you had a specific bonus that increased. In Naxxramas, it's called Sanctified, and so what Sanctified gear does is increase your Seal of the Dawn. So just what we went over here, say this increases my damage done by 12.5%. My health by 12.5. Why can't I read this bullshit? My health by 12.5% and my threat by 6.5% for each piece of Sanctified gear that I have. So if I'm running 3 pieces of Sanctified gear, then that's 12.5 times 3, which is 37.5. 37.5. That's 37.5 percent more damage done and more health that I have, right? Which is a fuck ton, right? And then when you get your set bonus here on your warding set, or whatever one it's called for you, it makes your Seal of the Dawn, the set bonus here, treats it as if I'm wearing 2 additional pieces. So instead of 3, it'll act like it's wearing 5. So that's 12.5 times 5. Which is 62.5. That's a shit ton, which only increases the more gear you get, up to 8 pieces of Sanctified gear, which makes you stronger in Naxxramas. And when your entire raid in Naxxramas is wearing Sanctified gear with the Seal of the Dawn, you guys can just fucking blast. Naxxramas has different hard modes now. We're not going to go over that in this video, because this video is just about getting caught up. Back to SOD if you've been gone for a while. We'll do that in a different video. But you want to be leveling up your Seal of the Dawn if you plan on raiding in Naxxramas for sure. So it may seem like a lot, but it's really not. Get back into the game, start leveling up with the 150% increased experience buff, do your daily incursions and keep questing or grind mobs out in the incursions, get to level 53, do your Blackrock Eruption events, get to level 60, get attuned for BWL, MC, start running BWLs and MCs in level 60 dungeons to start collecting Tarnished Undermine Reals, spend these Reals on tier 1 and tier 2 gear, or crates that will give you mats for gold. Get a lot of gear, because people don't need a lot of tier 1 and tier 2 gear in these raids anymore, so a lot will be passed on to you, which is really cool. Get your Naxxramas attunement done and start doing your Scourge Invasions for Scourge Stones, that can be turned in for Valor tokens, Necrotic runes, and Remnants of Valor, which again I don't have in this bag, which you can then use to upgrade your Seal of the Dawn, which will give your Sanctified gear more power inside Naxxramas. Easy. So another really cool thing in Season of Discovery is that you can now buy raid-wide consumable world buffs. It's amazing. My guild has been completely obsessed and addicted to these world buffs like it's crack. What you need to do is craft or buy runecloth bandages. You can turn them in here to this guy. You can turn in 20 of them and you get 10 of these, I believe it's 10 of these Alliance Commendation Signets. I think maybe they just changed this again. I forgot what it was, but some bullshit, they changed it. But this is what you do. And then you turn these signets in over here to this guy. I don't know where this is in Orgrimmar, but I'm sure it's pretty much probably the same thing. And when you turn these signets in, you can then buy world buffs here. There's some other cool stuff too. But this is Zandalar here. You got a Firewater Cauldron. That's really cool. It places one out that everybody can just go click on it and get Firewater. This is Might of Stormwind. This is Darkmoon Fair, Songflower, Dire Maul, and then Rallying Cry to Dragon Slayer. You can stack these in your bag and they're consumable, so you can get your whole raid together. And say you wipe, say everybody had world buffs and you wipe. Once everybody comes back on and gets back into the raid and sets back up, someone else can then drop these world buffs again, and you guys can have world buffs for the entire raid. It doesn't hurt as bad losing your world buffs now. It's really, really fun. It's balanced as well, I feel like, because if you want to save gold, then you're wanting to craft the actual runecloth bandages. Not heavy runecloth bandages, mind you, just runecloth bandages. Don't make that mistake. I bought fucking like 1,000 heavy runecloth bandages and I couldn't use them at all, right? So if you want to save gold, you buy the actual runecloth and you craft them into bandages. But that takes some time. It does actually take quite a bit of time to do that, to the point where I'm actually just buying the runecloth bandages and buying the world buffs directly with them. But you can craft them to save some gold, and each time you turn in the runecloth bandages, you get the Alliance Commendation Signets, but you also get a crate of worthless greens that you can either just vendor or disenchant, right, and try and sell those mats on the auction house. So it can take up a lot of bag space when you're trying to get, like, you know, some full stacks. When you're trying to craft like 15, 20 world buffs, right, for the upcoming week or 2 weeks or whatever, it takes up a lot of bag space, and it does take time to do for sure. So it's really cool though. It's a whole lot of fun. It's made raiding a whole lot of fun. So yeah, guys, I think that's pretty much it. So if you're coming back to SOD, guys, it's pretty easy to get back into it. It's a whole lot of fun. I think Season of Discovery is... I've played SOD since day one. I have not quit playing SOD. I know a lot of people quit in Phase 3. I've raided almost every lockout, every raid, fucking every night. I've played SOD almost every single night since it came out, and I'm still having a lot of fun with it. And I think that... we're in the home stretch, right? SOD is going to be seasonal, so it won't last forever. I think we're in the home stretch, and I think there's no better time than to come back, get into Naxxramas, experience Nax. You can still, there's reasons to be running all the old raids, and we got Scarlet Enclave. We have another raid coming, and who knows what they'll do with the future. I personally think we'll have a permanent SOD server, so I don't think that you're wasting your time by starting now, right? So yeah, guys, come on back to Season of Discovery. If you're on Crusader Strike NA and you need a guild, everybody's welcome to join my guild, Valor Morgulis. We raid with no gear checks. We raid with no parses. We don't do speed runs. We don't do anything like that. We have 2 Naxxramases going right now. We're about to start a 3rd one up once I get this warrior leveled up. Everyone's welcome to join that. Plenty of other great guilds out there that you guys can go and join as well. If you want to parse, they're out there. Those guilds are out there, right? But there's a lot of cool casual guilds down here as well. Or you can go in there and make your own guild, right? Or just join Pug. So a lot of cool stuff happening on SOD right now, and easy to get back into. So get your ass up, start leveling, and I'll see you guys in Naxxramas. Have a good day. Bye.